Hey guys, today I want to talk to you about the Kentia Palm, or Howea forsteriana. Is that right? So these palms are gorgeous and they're really pretty easy to take care of. I'm gonna walk you through care and then we're gonna repot this little guy. He really needs it. Okay, so these palms are from a tropical island, the island of Lord Howe in the Pacific Islands. I've never been there, but they have gorgeous palms there, and we can have these gorgeous palms in our home because they're fairly easy to take care of. Of course, being from a tropical climate, they do like humidity and they do like their soil moderately moist. So, you know, with any kind of tropical plants that want moderately moist soil, usually it's, you know, top 2 inches. If it's dry, then water. These plants can tolerate a lot of different conditions, so it makes it a pretty hardy plant. They can tolerate clay soil, they can tolerate loamy soil. They would prefer kind of like a more sandy, well-draining soil. That said, they can tolerate a few different conditions. Here in California, well, in Oakland, we're zone 9, so that's kind of like at the end of the spectrum. So they can live outside 9 to 11 zones. I think that, I don't know if I would want to chance putting one of these in the yard just in case we had a really cold day, then it might not make it. But if I put it in a pot on the porch, and then if I knew we had a really cold day coming up, I could bring it inside. So that's an option. But they do really well as houseplants. So water, medium water needs, does like humidity, so spray the leaves, clean the leaves. This one needs to be cleaned. It came from a greenhouse and it has a little bit of, looks like a little bit of mold on the leaves actually. So I like to, you know, take each one of these, clean it with some water, and it does sometimes need pruning. You can see this leaf is kind of yellow here, so pruning is good. It likes bright indirect light, but can handle lower light conditions. So that's great. So it gives a little bit of flexibility there. Don't place it in direct sun. You're probably gonna get burnt leaves, burnt tips. The burnt tips on this one is probably more likely caused by overwatering and not by too much sun. This plant in particular was in a greenhouse and it was really wet. It was so wet that you can kind of see, it's the cutest thing ever. There's like a little ecosystem growing at the bottom of this pot, which I will take out and put in a little terrarium because I think that that's the cutest. There's literally like little tiny ferns and moss. So cute. So this palm is hardy enough, it could handle being neglected. It was neglected in a greenhouse. Its roots, I'm gonna show you this too. So its roots it's totally root bound, and its roots had grown out of the pot, and it was actually attached to the wooden planks in the greenhouse. So I had to gently pull it off. I didn't tear any roots on this one, but I did it to another one, and I think I tore some roots on that one. It's not going to want to be near a fan or a heater. That's probably going to dry it out too much. That's in general most humid plants. You put an open window next to them and they just instantly dry out. They can rebound, but it's not a good thing. Fertilizing, I would only fertilize during the growing season, and I tend to go pretty light on fertilizer. With most of my plants, I usually dilute it more than the package says. I usually go like half strength, and then I fertilize more often. But with these palms, I wouldn't fertilize necessarily more often. You want to make sure though that they're getting enough potassium. Browning tips can be a lack of potassium. So let's talk about problems with these palms. This one has some obvious things. It's got some black stuff on the stem. It's got a yellow leaf here. So this yellow leaf, because I know how it was growing, is probably due to too much water. The black stem, probably also too much water. The roots, I don't think it has root rot. The roots look okay to me. Because they were coming out of the pot, I think that it saved it from root rot because the water was just going straight through and because they were able to get air. Yellow leaves is probably too much water. Browning tips could be not enough water, or it could be too much fertilizer, or not enough potassium. So these plants can get pretty big. If they're let to grow as much as they want, they could get up to 40 feet. If you have it in a pot indoors, probably no more than 10 feet. Much more manageable. If I kept it in this small pot like this, it's probably not gonna get a whole ton bigger than this. If you want it to get bigger, then pot it 2 inches bigger to the next size. You're gonna wanna pot less often than more often because you don't wanna disturb the roots. So that's why we're gonna go kind of the next jump up would be 2 inches. Like I said before, well-drained soil. If you don't want this palm to grow really big, you can leave it in the same pot, but just change the soil out. This pot would present a little bit of a problem. I don't think you should really leave roots like this sticking out, although the palm seems to be doing okay. It was doing okay when it was in a really humid environment. So in my home that has more like 40 to 50% humidity, those roots might dry out on the bottom unless they were sitting in water, and that plant does not want to be sitting in water. So we're going to repot this one, and I'm going to show you, just in case you have a plant at home or that you got from the nursery and it has roots coming out of the bottom like this. Depending on the plant, some plants can handle it if you break the roots, but I'll show you a little trick you can do so that you don't have to disturb the roots so much. So I'm gonna show you how to repot this. Let's do this. All right, so we're gonna be repotting the Kentia Palm, and you can see that the roots are coming out of the bottom. The top's got moss on it, and actually now that we're outside you can probably see how the leaves almost have this like yellowish mottling to them. This Kentia will be fine, but I think it just had way too much moisture. So we're gonna start by cutting this little guy off. Don't need him. And so we can't get it out of the pot, so instead we're just gonna cut the pot off. We're gonna cut down to the root area, and then I'll show you what we're gonna do. Alright, so like I said, these roots are delicate. If I pulled this off, it's going to break all of these roots and the palm is really going to suffer. So we're going to put this in a bigger pot, but we're going to leave this bottom part on here. You can kind of see that there's a whole bunch of roots tight up here. So once we put it in the next pot, they're just going to expand this way, and we can just leave this plastic in there. Alright, so I've got a pot. It's about almost 2 inches bigger, and I actually am just using a mixture of my aeroid mix mixed with my cactus mix. So my cactus mix already has some sand in it, and the aeroid mix is just super chunky. So I don't think you have to be you know, crazy about your soil with these guys, but making sure you add, at least if you're using a regular potting soil, make sure you add some sand and some perlite, and then you'll probably be fine. So the chunkier your mix is, though, you're gonna have to remember that you'll have to water more often. So that would be the only downside. If you're somebody who waters a lot, then definitely go chunky. All right, so she's done. The only other thing I would do for this one is to clean off the leaves. Oh yeah, one more thing. I would definitely give this one a nice drink of water before I put it back where it's gonna go. Don't forget to water it after you repot it. Alright you guys, thanks for watching. Like this video, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Take care. Bye.